It is my pleasure to be here with you. Where are my panelists? Shall I invite them to come up? Yes? Clyde, Lydia. And I know that Mr. Martin is online. So is Delano. So while my panelists are coming, I want to share something with you. I read this a few months ago, the paradox of our times. The paradox of our times is that we have taller buildings but shorter tempers, wider roads but narrower viewpoints, spend more but have less, buy more but enjoy less, have more degrees but less sense, more medicines but less wellness, have conquered outer space but not inner space, have cleaned up the air but polluted the soul, have split the atom but not our prejudices, live in fancier houses but broken homes. Today we can fly in the air like birds, swim in the seas like fish, but don't know how to live on earth like women and men. We've made tremendous progress, but somewhere lost ourselves. Wellness is an active process, and we're here this afternoon to discuss wellness and music. I think I'm going to sit because I'm wearing a mic that allows me some volume. There we go. So I'm going to say just a little bit about our panelists, not too much. I know we just have 45 minutes. We're joined by an esteemed set of people. They are some of Jamaica's most interesting in their sphere of operation. Lydia Rose, the general manager at JCAP. Clyde McKenzie, veteran in the media and entertainment business. Christopher Martin, of course, all of you should know, in the music business, a recording artist. And Delano Thomas of Renaissance disco fame. And I want to ask each of them to jump right into it, to reflect on this topic of the intersection between wellness and music toward considerations for health and wellness tourism in Jamaica. This is a fantastic topic for us to be looking at today. The contribution of this whole context of music to wellness and health tourism in Jamaica. I'm going to start with Clyde. Tell us, share with us your wisdom on this topic.
Thank you, Dr. Naya. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, friends, Lydia, panelists, and all the other panelists, Delano, Chris. It's good to be here. I've been looking at the question of the contribution of music, particularly indigenous music, which would confer a strategic advantage, I think, to us in terms of the wellness tourism business. I think it's pretty well known the therapeutic value of music. It's widely accepted that music has been able to heal and to cure so many ailments of the soul and the mind. But I think I want to concentrate more today on the physical side, which impinges somewhat on the mental. And so I would really like to talk about the whole use of dance, Jamaican dance, as a form of wellness. I don't think we have made the connection sufficiently between dancing and exercise and fitness. I've been seeing more and more people across the world outside of Jamaica using Jamaican music as a means of exercising and of staying fit. Well, I use music for my own exercise in the evening. I just do an hour of dancing and, that's it for my cardio. And I realize that there is a great opportunity in framing and basically conflating dancing and exercise to induce people to come to a place like this. And I think we need to examine a little bit more carefully the opportunities that exist between, well, cross-training, that is, you would allow people who have a facility in fitness and wellness getting involved more in the business of dancing and vice versa. And that could be used as an opportunity to get people to come to a country like this to learn some of our dancing techniques and ways of doing things. What is interesting is that if you use dance as a means of exercise and as an avenue to fitness, what you also do is you can expand the scope and the opportunities for our music, in the sense that you will find that grandma might not want to dance a current song, just like that, if it's just about dancing. But if you say to grandma, this is about exercise, and you can dance this song, it's a different kind of reaction that you would get. And so what you're doing is, by using the music, you could actually expand your audience in terms of once you start using it, and as we talk about the intersection between fitness and actual entertainment. So I think that's an important part of the calculus in terms of bringing people to the country. Of course, there are other things that we'd have to talk about in terms of how we structure it, how we scale it, and all of that. But I think it's essential that we frame wellness and fitness in the context of, dance, if we're talking about music, dance, and wellness and fitness.
Thank you very much, Clyde. It made me think about all of our famous dance creators in Jamaica, or choreographers, and the ways in which they have, in fact, many of them, some of whom have passed, would have loved to have heard what you just said, because there is so much energy that they've put into making dance, Jamaican dance, into an industry. Let's call it an industry. And the ways in which people outside of Jamaica have taken this dance and are doing all kinds of things with it. There's a way in which we should, in fact, think about bringing dance back home. Yes. Bringing dance back home, and certainly as part of our wellness and health tourism product, which we already have. It's in its more or less nascent stage, but we're going to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we shall.
So I want to shoot to Delano now, and to ask him to reflect on the intersection between wellness and music in his own experience as a veteran DJ.
Thank you. Hear about myself. Hold on, let me make sure. Are you hearing me out there?
Yes, we're hearing you very well.
Perfectly.
Great. All right, so I'd like to thank everyone for being here. Thanks for inviting me to this panel. It's very important. As a producer, as well as a DJ, I consider myself as a music therapist. As also been doing the DJ training for the TEF, have to be explaining these things in DJs as well. Because in terms of music, we as DJ,
Delano, we're not hearing you.
We're not hearing you, Delano.
Oh, sorry, somebody mute me. So I was saying before, I don't know where you guys in here, but music is part of healing, used all over the world, and something that we as DJs have to find ways of trying to change people's mood. So when it comes on to music, well, it boils down to that music is one of the only things that process the information both sides of your brain. So that's why I know as a DJ it's very powerful with health and wellness and music. So as Clive said, in terms of dancing, yes, dance is a very big part of it, cardio, stuff like that. There's part of it where you really can calm down the nerves by listening to music as well. So music, especially reggae music and dancehall music, I've seen all over the world. You know, they use our music to help to heal, you know, people's, you know, issues. So that's one of the things that I know that as a DJ and as a producer, it's a very, very strong tool.
All right. I thought you were going to go on
Yes.
for much longer than that, but it's all right. We'll come back to you. So, Christopher Martin, I want to throw to you now to ask you to reflect on this intersection between wellness and music in your own career as a musician, as a DJ. Tell us about this intersection for you. And I want you to talk really about your personal experience.
Definitely. Good evening, everyone. You're hearing me properly, right?
Yes, we are.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to the panelists. I am, to everyone who's in the ear of this, as an entertainer, I view music from a different standpoint. You know, apart from it being like my substance of survival, it is like my therapy. I love music, first and foremost. I owe almost everything I have right now to music. So it holds a very special place in my life. And touching on the topic of wellness and health, I want to kind of not limit myself, but kind of stay very in tune with like mental health. There are a lot of people, especially within the time that we're in right now, 2020, with the pandemic and everything that's happening, there's no greater time for music to be used as an aid for everything that is happening right now. A lot of people are depressed, a lot of people are down in their spirit, down in their mood, and one thing that they turn to is music. And before this, it was music, but right now, it is ever so more important than ever. And as an entertainer, when I travel the world and I see different crowds, I get to do intimate settings, perform from 50 people to up to 40,000, 50,000 crowds, you understand? And I see what drives people. And our bodies are made up of like harmonics, you know. Music touches lives and touches you in different ways. Like you could hear a song and you could have been down for days and you hear a song or you see a performer, you see someone perform on stage and they change your whole week, they change your month, they change your year, they change your whole spirit, your whole vibe. That is wellness. That is you being impacted directly, and it's not an unknown source, it's music. You know, a lot of people, they don't even understand the change. Like they're driving in their car and they're so upset their boss did something to them, and mentally they're drained, and they hear a song and unconsciously don't understand that this is healing them right now. That is the power of music. So for me as an entertainer, I feel like the onus is on me to do songs and to perform in a way that I'm helping to heal people. You understand? And I feel like as we try to broaden it now and bring it to a sense where Jamaica is concerned and the tourism sector, the world looks towards Jamaica. You understand? We went through a patch where France was trying to say that they are the owners of reggae music. And that was careless. There should never have been a chance for an outside entity or an outside nation to even feel like they could make such an assumption. You understand what I'm saying to you? This is what us as a nation, we need to work on. We need to work on making sure that our identity and our property is protected properly. There are many outlets. We need many other outlets in which we can have people come to the island for this wellness, for this kind of healing. Reggae music, reggae, dancehall, there needs to be more avenues for people to come here and experience it from the source. It's like you have a stream when it filters down, if you get it from the head of the stream, from the beginning, from where it comes from, it's at its cleanest. You know, it doesn't go through a lot of other things. It's right at the top, and Jamaica is that. So I feel like we just need to invest more in that segment and ensure that people can come to us for this thing. I travel, I see it, I know the impact that it has on the mind, on the body. And as we're talking about wellness and health, there is no greater catalyst, man. Music is it, 100%. And for everyone that has been through something in life, they can attest to it. They can give their testimonies. They can write a blog. They can write in the comments. They can tell you what music has done for them, mentally, physically, spiritually. That is what it's all about. And I feel like we have one of the genres that is responsible for the ultimate kind of healing. There is no greater kind of vibe that goes through one's body than drum and bass. When you feel that energy from reggae music. Even if you go as far back as ska music, as Clive talks about dancing, as you hear a ska song, you cannot help but move. That is synonymous with Jamaica. We need to tap into all of that. You understand? Yeah, but that's just my 2 cents as it relates to music and health and wellness.
Thank you so much. You know, I'm sitting here as moderator and wishing I was a panelist, but you've raised some important, who is laughing over there? You've raised some really important points, Chris. One, you've disaggregated some things for us. So spiritual, you know, mental, physical, all of these different dimensions of wellness, which is a conscious thing. But also, what you've said has implications for the ways in which the apparatuses of the state, as in the government, must therefore facilitate the ways in which music, as a healing mechanism, can be experienced by people not only locally, but those who visit Jamaica, you know, coming from outside of the region, internationally, and so on. And one of the things we've been calling for is more venues, greater venues. There are people who visit Jamaica, and in fact, you know, for what it's worth, they are locked up in hotels. That is part of our tourism product. And we must find ways to have them released from the walls and be able to experience the fullness of the entertainment product. So I wanted to place it on the agenda. Now I want to throw to Lydia.
Thank you, Sonia. And I must say that it's a pleasure to be with my male counterparts in the industry. I look forward to and to be able to contribute to everything that they have said. In fact, COVID in this time have taught us, if not anything, that socialization is one of the core parts of human behavior. And the performing arts allows us to connect, to socialize, music especially. Because, I mean, parties in Jamaica or wherever, you not only connect to people face to face, well, now it's virtual, but you're also able to rock and do whatever it is for your own wellness when you hear the music, as Christopher said. And 2030 vision statement in Jamaica says not only are we to look at traditional tourism, but we are to try to attract the tourists to our environment in a more dynamic and a more meaningful experience. And when I read through a document prepared by PC, Price Waterhouse in 2015 for JAMPO, speaking about wellness and tourism and the holistic part of tourism, I really didn't see music anywhere as the forefront to deal with the holistic part of it. And as my other esteemed panelists have said, when you hear the music, you feel no shame, no pain. Whatever it is, you are moving, and that is just part of your wellness. If you have a hard day at work, you go home and you listen to music, whatever it is. And I would say to those who have the know-how to put music at the forefront of wellness, health and wellness tourism, that as Clive said, which I was thinking of, dance. I mean, the sun and exercise is what the tourists come for the sun and the sea, but why not add exercise to it where you offer dance classes? You have our choreographers who right now really need to show what they can do. Instead of, they have traveled the world and have been teaching in countries. Why not have them do it here? So instead of they go to the tourists, have the tourists come here. The spa facilities that we have. If you do not have where you can do an exercise program in the hotels, for the boutique hotels, do linkages with the promoters, etc., and the choreographers who do provide these exercise classes. And teach them how to do reggae, because that's what most of our dancers go and do. The next thing that we can look at to involve music is we have where hotels do wellness cruise. As Christopher said, he has to tour almost, if not 90% of the time, right? Delano also, to carry the music out. On these wellness cruises, why not have something where you negotiate with our artists to perform on those cruises? That's a gap that needs to be filled. So instead of their touring, they can be here with their family, offering wellness to their family, because they know that they also can earn in the Jamaican space and earn very well. We also have yoga, which is a type of wellness and meditation. Why not our creators create in this time nice, soft reggae yoga and pitch it to the yoga studios where that can be an integral part where the music can come in. I mean, there is so much gaps that can be filled with using our own to offer to the tour as a tourist product. And that in itself, if our creators, because we must remember that they're self-employed, and right now I know that they're stressed. So we're not only looking on the side of wellness for tourism, we have to also look on the side of wellness, as Christopher said, for our own creators, right? They're probably stressing out, how do we earn to do our life insurance, take care of our family, etc. The hotels can make that space for them to come and earn by offering their own music. As I spoke before about the cruises, we have the Love and Harmony cruise, we have the Jamra cruise, which is out there, and they're always sold out. Why not take the same model here into our hotels? It don't have to be the hotels. It can be on our own sea. We have sea all around us. And give the artists a chance to earn and offer what the music that we have, which will offer health and wellness. I mean, RGR Group also have virtual parties. Why not have the tourists link into those parties and have their friends, so that you can market your hotels? The friends and families don't have to be there with them, but they will see what our offering is. And I really, sitting here being on this panel, just I'm just thinking of all the opportunities that our music and our creators and performers, I mean, we're talking about music right now, but art, I mean, we have a lot of writers. Offer those things in a space where it can become earnings for our creators and not just looking on our creators just going overseas to earn. I'm sure a lot of them are tired of touring too, right? Offer them the space in Jamaica so that they can give the music to the tourists, and it becomes a win-win situation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Oh my goodness. I know there are people here taking notes, because those were some concrete examples of how it is to make the linkage between music and wellness. And more importantly, that when we think of tourism, it's an industry. This is an industry. Economies like Jamaica's economy depend on things like tourism to be able to feed its population, to provide health care, to provide good roads, schools, and so on. So when we think of tourism and we think of that industrial dimension, we also want to be able to scale these examples to the point where not only can we make enough resources for, one person to exist, but we want to make enough resources for a community to be existing, for communities to thrive, and to, in fact, be able to experience wellness as they begin to be economically viable. So I want to, ask each of you, in the time that we have left, to let's think about the examples that we can leave. We heard about the dance as a way to expand our tourism product and to have choreographers and dance creators in Jamaica begin to be part and parcel of this tourism product. But then we heard other examples from Lydia. Anybody else? What are the ways in which we can expand this tourism product to be able to really take advantage of the intersection between wellness and music?
I think one of the things we should be looking at, and I think steps have been made towards that objective, is a holistic evaluation of the various facets of our tourism products. So, for example, gastronomy. So the linkages, the idea of the linkages network is a fabulous one, in the sense that what you are doing is, if you're talking wellness, then food is a big part of that. So it would be, how do you create the kind of food that would link with the dance and the exercise, and maybe even something like Jamaican fashion, and you bring all of this together in a holistic kind of way. And that could have implications for even audiovisual content. And, so there can be a lot of backward linkages in terms of how that impacts the economy. So there are a number of ways that we can intervene in that process, in terms of bringing people here and making Jamaica a wellness kind of center. It could involve even the environment, so it has implications for a number of things. And you could be bringing different groupings of people who would, have different, maybe slightly or different kinds of outlook, but you bring them and intersect all of these kind of interests. And that I think is where we might be or should be looking.
So pretty much a convergence approach, or thinking in terms
yes,
of
in terms of the convergence.
To be able to have people experience so many of the ways in which there are inherent linkages across these creative disciplines,
and
food,
and
music,
promoting wellness.
dance, and
Yes.
so on. And I wanted to remind those who may not know anyway, to bring it up as Lydia was talking. I remembered that there are people in Jamaica who are innovating at several levels. I think of Janine's Yoga on Dub, and the ways in which the intersection there between music, yoga, wellness as a holistic practice. She innovated in her own, process of making music. So that's definitely one of the things we could expand. There are other persons who are into all kinds of things where they incorporate music and so on. So anybody else? What are some of the other examples, some of the other nuggets we want to leave with the Tourism Enhancement Fund, the Ministry of Tourism, and so on?
Okay, you heard me?
Yes.
Okay, well, what I would like to say is, like sports, we celebrate sports in Jamaica, our athletes. So that's one thing we need to do. We need to celebrate our music. We need to own our music. Especially like as what Chris said about France trying to own our music. Not only France, parts of Europe. So I'm thinking that we are not owning our music enough, because every time I travel the world, I'm seeing more of our culture, our music representing, Jamaica, but they don't have to come to Jamaica for it. And that is, I think, the problem for it. So we need to celebrate our music, celebrate our culture. I know that our festival is not as big as it used to be before, but that's what we need to do. Because, you've seen commercials all over the world using our reggae music or dancehall music to promote their products. So we use our music to promote our product, which is Jamaica culture. And as you said, I've said, link it with our food, That's the main thing that we really need to do is really own our music. Give our artists ways and means of promoting our music, sharing it with our own, that we can actually have people coming to Jamaica because they're going other countries to experience our music. So we need to find a way how to get that get that together, especially with the government. Touch on the thing about the hotels, in terms of some of the hotels actually do dance classes, they do reggae classes, they do health and wellness, because I've studying these hotels for the past couple of years. I see they're trying, but we still need more of that across the hotels around Jamaica. So that's my 2 cents to it. We just need to own our music, and we need to get the support from all the stakeholders.
So, I want to push that point a little bit and to remind our viewers, remind our audience members that Jamaica is the only country to have given the world, depending on who you're speaking to, 6 or 8 different genres, 6, 7 or 8 different genres of music. And if anybody here wants to tell me what these genres of music are afterwards, you can tell me. I have a prize for you. But more importantly, there is no musical genre since the 1960s. No musical genre since the 1960s that has not been influenced by Jamaican music. So we're powerful and broad out there. And I'm so happy that Delano decided to say we need to own our music. We need to own our musical assets. We have what I call an embarrassment of musical riches in Jamaica. And we are not so aware of it. And so before I die, I want to make sure that every child in Jamaica owns the musical assets, so that we can stand up and say, yes, these are the musical genres that we've given the world in a short space of time, 50 years, the latter half of the 20th century. Delano, I saw you were raising your hand. You want to tell us what those musical genres are?
Leave it up
to the audience. All right. All right, so Chris, and then I'm going to throw back to Lydia. Chris, what nuggets do you have for us?
It's just like sticking to the earlier point, avenues, avenues. It's awesome to talk about integrating food with dancing and celebrating our culture and celebrating our music. It's all awesome to talk about. But if you don't have more avenues in which to pitch it to the masses, then that's what it's going to be. It's just going to be ideas, And if you don't work on them in a way in which you want to see these ideas come to fruition, then we'll just be talking constantly. And then this segment, this whole thing would have been fun on. You understand? You've touched on so many different topics, and I'm sure this is not the first the audience or those who are viewing have talked about these things. But we're still here today. We're still here today talking about the same topics. I just feel like we need more action. You understand? It's awesome that we are reiterating on this. Yeah, I'm happy that I'm a part of the panel. But I just feel like another that I want to leave is that we need action. It's awesome to talk about. Awesome to always come together, convert, and say this needs to be done and that needs to be done. But we are music, and that's a bold statement to make. But Jamaica is music. That's how I feel. Like everywhere I go and I listen to a song, it's like a yard. Like they took so many elements of our music. As you said, there are like 6, you said? 6 different genres that we've given to the world.
6, 7 or 8.
Imagine. Now when you think about it, if we are praised in a sense for all the bits and pieces that are being taken away, if we are acknowledged for it, then you can say you're acknowledged maybe 10% of it. It's a joke, you understand? So we need more avenues. Apart from avenues, we need action. We need it to not only be off the tongue, but we need it to be in sun, steel, and stone right now. You know what I mean?
And I'm going to push that button of action, because with action comes respect. There's a certain way in which some of the things that we've created in Jamaica, some of this, what we've given the world, gifted the world, we don't at home have respect for. And I think with action, before you can even get to action, we must have respect for what it is we've created. So I want to remind us of that. And Lydia?
Okay, my nugget that I would like to leave is respect for our creators and the music. Because if we don't value and respect what our creators do, then we cannot earn from it. And in respecting our creators, then they themselves can earn. And in terms of action, as Chris says, let's start with Reggae Month. Have Reggae Month be our music bearer to the world and to ourselves in how we respect. I mean, on every station, we just play reggae music for the entire month. We have live events. We have the tourists have tours to these live events. They have tours to the fun places, Chaka, and other places, and the beaches. Why not have tours to the musical events that we can show the world that we can have? Let's do action and respect the music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who is it that wants to say something?
No, well, just quickly, I mean, the point about, that Chris has raised about ownership, there is ownership on two different levels. One is the question of copyright ownership. Lydia is an expert on that. But then there is another level of ownership, which is, I don't want to call it misappropriation, but you find that we have not been able to take ownership of some of the influences that we have had on the world in terms of popular culture. Many of the modern production techniques that, I mean, you see Stargate and Max Martin are using, they started right here with people like Striker Lee and Tubby and Jammy. And so we have not, so a reggaeton, I was speaking with Jammy the other day, and I said, Jammy, do you realize that there is maybe 4 steps between you and Striker Lee and reggaeton, which is not to be confused with reggae en español, which is from Panama. But reggaeton, as I pointed, I said, Striker Lee basically, he recruited Jammy. Jammy recruited Steely and Clevie, and also Bobby Digital. It was Steely and Clevie who did Pokemon Jam. Bobby Digital did a reprise and called it Dembow. Dembow is the basis of reggaeton. That's what they call reggaeton. Dembow. Now, just look at the sequence. You can clearly establish the Jamaican connection. The same thing for hip hop. Now everybody is coming and, I mean, something I was talking about for years, but now I see the Americans now are coming and saying, hey, hip hop is a Jamaican music construct. I mean, I know Dr. Nye had a conference, and there is the recognition of the importance of making that claim and saying this thing comes from here, because there's value in that. And we're not using those kinds of connections in terms of what we spawn.
The question of ownership is very important.
So it's ownership, that's very important.
The knowledge, if we don't know, we can't begin to own what we do have as our musical assets. Now, unfortunately, we could stay here for the whole day talking about music and wellness. But I do want to throw to the audience or anyone listening, viewing us online, if there are any questions. Any questions?
Good afternoon, Doc.
Good afternoon, Karen.
And panel, I found it very interesting. I have a question that I've been burning to ask. Your panel can take it. Perhaps Chris. I remember every time I eat KFC or my children eat KFC, what song comes to mind? Big deal.
Big deal.
And I'm saying, why is it that we can't have an association with so many products that are being made? When you're using it overseas, when you're rubbing your hand, this song could come to your mind. I'm just saying, there's so much more. Our music could be aligned to our products. So, I mean, working in linkages, I've seen so many persons doing now more skincare, more lotions, more everything. And I think even in making it, we make videos for everything. We put it on Facebook, we put it on YouTube. In making the products, can the persons then join up with our music professionals, make it with a song, and every time you use it, it's part of our music, it's part of us. I think there's so much more things that we can do together. What is it that would prevent us from doing this kind of thing? I mean, I have the KFC in my head, and I see Chris every time I eat it. The KFC. What other things we can do? And I'm encouraging us to do things like that. And I think it would also take our music much further.
Anybody want to respond
Yeah.
to that?
Maybe Lydia, you want?
Yes. Well,
Because it's actually a complicated.
Yeah,
it's very complicated,
Go-
it's copyright. And I
for it.
can tell you, which I've said, is to value our creators and our product. And a lot of times, the product and the owners of those products don't value what they see the value in the linkages. Even when we see it, they don't respect copyright enough. They just want to, we're from a culture where we do things freely and we want to use things freely. And when our creators say, no, there's a value to it, then they say, okay, we won't use it. They push it aside because they're just not seeing the value of how it can enhance their product. And that is one of the barriers that we have to deal with in the industry. And JCAP has been trying to convince the business owners that there is value in putting your product and linking your product to the music, because that's what our populace hear, and that's what our populace understand. The music, as Chris said, music is part of us. Delana said it as well. And I just want to throw out, and I'm happy for that question to say, and I said it before, value our music, take ownership, and in that way, we will value the creators, because without the creators, there's no industry. We're talking about well-being and how music makes us well. If the creators can't earn, how are they going to produce? That's their earning, and that is their well-being. So once we value it and we take ownership, then that barrier that we now have, we probably can break down.
If I might just
Very
say, just
important.
to say one quick thing. I know the Ministry of Tourism had initiated an ambassador kind of program, which allowed artists to basically go out there and help to promote. But I think it's limited in scope because there is more that can be done. We need to applaud the government. I think it's now being undertaken by the Ministry of Culture, where some artists are able to get the ambassadorship. But I think what needs to happen is, the tour support thing that they call it. But I think what needs to happen is that the private sector could be coming on board and could do more in terms of getting use the artists as a vehicle for getting their products out there. Of course, it would be with a financial consideration to the artist. But that is something that if you're thinking marketing, you can say, well, look, Chris is going out there, Delana is going out there. I mean, I have this product that I need to get into this particular market. Let me try and get it out there and use that person as an ambassador, not just for here, but for where they're going.
I mean, Caroline, you see that your question has raised a number of issues. And it's a no-brainer, pairing the music with the marketing of products Jamaican. It's a no-brainer. And I know many of us in here, when we were children, some of the most memorable ads on television, when you look at international media, we actually remember the ads that have catchy songs, some kind of catchy gems, and it is actually a shame that we would rather use foreign products to be able to market our own local products than to use our own local creatives to be able to do so. So thank you very much for your question. Now, guess what? We are out of time. I just want to have the last question there posed, and then we can ruminate and consider it, even if we don't have the time to answer it. But let's hear your question. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Robert Wright. I'm a return resident here in Jamaica at 42 years old. And I've actually visited a lot of countries, and I kind of have an idea of what's lacking. Now, I was interviewed by Jampro for a position with the tourist board, and I gave the response. I have a lot of friends around the world, millionaires, and they don't necessarily want the traditional hotel. So, we have got to focus on rural areas and make the agri-tourism at the forefront of what the tourism brand should represent. We're not doing that. I've been to a lot of main hotels here in Jamaica. They tell people not to go out. So I'll make it short. The focus is this. We must focus on the rural areas, the beauty of Jamaica. Rich people don't want to stay in the hotels anymore. They don't want to stay in the hotels and see the beach. They want to go to the country areas. They want to do the herbal tours like I think Blue Mountain is doing it. They want to see the Rastaman. They want to smoke some marijuana because, believe it or not, I've been to events abroad where white men have come up to me and said, "Oh, you're from Jamaica? Oh, we control the marijuana business now." And they do. This is a reality that we should not shy away from. If you go to Toronto right now and you go to a dispenser selling marijuana, I'm sorry, just quickly.
No, I'm not stopping you. I'm actually just helping you because you didn't necessarily pose a question, which is what I thought you were going to do. But more importantly, the point you're making is that there's a cannabis dimension to Jamaica's tourism product, which is a very important one.
I won't be long.
But hold on,
yes.
And that there is a dimension also. Some of the things we mentioned earlier, that the all-inclusive product is not the only tourism product, and therefore we must diversify that product even more and be able to expand what it is that visitors come to Jamaica to do. So I'm thanking you very much for your comments.
So quickly, I think
Sir, we're out of time.
Okay.
I'm thanking you so much for your comments.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
It has been my pleasure.
Our pleasure.
I want to thank each of our panelists and to you, our lovely audience, both online and in this convention center. Thank you so much. It has been my pleasure being your moderator.
Thank you.